the gentleman yield for a question?
Does the gentleman yield for questions?
Yes, I do.
Gentleman
yield
yields
for
for questions.
Thank you, Chairman Lambert. I appreciate you laying out this bill. I just want to ask you a few questions about the process. So HJR, when was this bill put on the calendar? Where did it go through the committee?
I'm not advised on the specific date, Mrs. Davis, but I think it was fairly early in the session.
And so would you say that you put this on the calendar, got it on the calendar fairly early because of what?
Because of the importance of the bill,
Okay. And so the chairman, which committee did this come through?
this came through the Higher Education Committee.
And so the chairman set your bill based on you're wanting to represent TSTC in the constituents. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay. Do you think other members in this body ought to enjoy that same liberty to have their legislation brought forward in a timely manner?
Yes, ma'am, if those bills are good policy, I do recommend that.
And so, Mr. Chairman, we had a bill for District 111. It seems that you had a problem with it. Is it because it didn't do something yours is doing other than representing this district?
Ms. Davis, I'm focused on a bill that talks about workforce education.
And that's what this bill was talking about too, is educating community interest. And so I just want to understand, and I'm not going to hurt this bill because I know the value of TSTC, but you need to understand the value of all of us having the ability to get our legislation set in a timely manner. That's the question that I'm raising. Do you think that we deserve that same respect?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And in the future, would you try to endeavor to respect us the way you're asking us to respect your legislation?
Yes, ma'am, on bills that make good policy, I certainly respect that.
And are you the only one to determine what good policy is?
It's my understanding that's what a chairman's responsibility is.
Okay, no. Are you individually, is it the committee or is it the chairman? Aren't you obligated to allow us to set our forward? Otherwise, we wouldn't need a committee. Is that correct?
Representative Davis, if those bills do make good policy, then yes.
And so the question is, do you think you're the only one who's intelligent enough to determine what good policy is?
No, I think it deserves discussion among other members of the committee as well as other stakeholders.
And in doing so, do we get to do that without the chairman setting the bill for a hearing in a timely manner?
I think the chairman has that responsibility to look at the bills that are being referred to his committee or her committee and make priority decisions about which bills should move forward.
Do you think you ought to tell the member that if you don't know if it can get through the Senate, that you don't set it in the House?
Members, please confine your remarks to the bill at hand.
So this bill that's set here, do we know if it's going to pass the Senate?
I do not know at this time if it's going to pass the Senate.
So that would not be a precursor to determine whether or not bills should be heard, whether or not we know if it's going to be heard, if it's going to get through the Senate. Is that it?
I think there are a lot of things to consider when looking at bills referred to your committee. Move passage.